Today, we're going to find an automated Bitcoin strategy to invest for us so that we can be out in the world living our lives, not glued to a screen. But in the last two episodes, if you haven't seen them, go check them out. I taught you the basics of algorithmic investing, as well as how to spot dangerous strategies. I also showed you a little bit about how to use the Composer website to find strategies of your own. But in fact, in our Discord community, we actually have a strategy database of over 2,500 investing strategies that you can access right now. So if you haven't joined our Discord yet, you should. But on our website, you can also find this database at investorscollab.com. If you click the community database, it'll take you here with a video kind of explaining you how to use the database. And if you hit this button, it'll take you to our database. Today, we're going to look for some Bitcoin strategies. So we're going to keep this very simple, and we're just going to search for strategies with the name Bitcoin in them. And we've got quite a few here. So I'm going to start opening these up, and I'm just going to scan through them real quick and see what they look like. And you'll get an idea of what I'm looking for on good strategies and bad strategies. Now, we talked about the out of sample line in the past videos. Again, if you haven't seen the videos, go watch them. But what I'm looking for here is back tests that mirror the forward out of sample performance. But if you're new here, the out of sample line is essentially when the strategy was created. So what I'm looking for is I want to see the back test, which is this part of the strategy here, matching the forward test. And as you can see that this one does not match at all. It actually crashes and burns pretty hard. So we're not going to look at that strategy. That's a bad one. This one's a little bit better. It's still a little choppy. I don't like that one. This one doesn't seem like it's performing too well either, although it is kind of matching itself. There might be something here. And this was actually built by Derek Nelson, one of our master architects. I know he's a really good algorithmic investing designer. So I'm actually going to take a look at this one in a little bit. So we'll leave that one up. This strategy is also by Derek. It looks very similar. So we'll leave those two up and we'll just keep going down the list. All right, this is Bitcoin version 2 by Derek, and I actually think I'm running this one live, but I'm not liking the performance too well of that one. Here's the one that I'm actually running live. You can see this is the live performance of the strategy. It's currently up 76%. It hit a top end of 195% through this bull run. We're going to leave this one up because I'm actually have real money in this strategy. And this one's interesting. This looks to be a mean reversion off of Bitcoin with an RSI check. So let's take a look at who made that one. This was made by Michael B., who's also a good architect in our community. So I'm going to leave this one up and we're going to take a deeper analysis on that one. This one's interesting. This one's another Derek strategy. It's kind of flat. It's pretty simple. I think we'll leave that one up for now and take a look at it. This looks to be a very similar one. We will leave this up, and I believe these two were built by Ronanen. Lastly, this is one more. These all just seem to be like variations on the same thing. So we'll leave those up, and then here's the last batch that we're going to look at. This one looks similar. It's somewhat congruent to its back test. Might be something here, but I think we'll skip that one. Magic Internet Money, I believe this is a variation from Deeds. Not exactly perfect, but it is profitable. It's quite profitable, actually, from the out of sample. Let's run it back to the out of sample. Currently up about 86%. It's a little complicated, but we'll take a look at it. This is another one, very similar. It's got a pretty smooth equity curve. Very complicated, though, because this is way too big. I'm going to skip that because 100% not all of these branches have fired. So I don't trust any strategy that has a bunch of branches because there's just a good chance that it hasn't fired. Another strategy, this one's pretty simple. This one's actually very smooth and it's a very simple strategy. I like that it's not too big. I mean, it's kind of big, but not too bad. Now, lastly, Derek actually just messaged me and he said that he posted a strategy. So we're gonna find it real quick because I think he just posted it in the community. I think we'll do a scan for BTC as well. And we're gonna go back to the database and we're gonna search BTC as well and see what comes up. There's more strategies here. This one's built by Deeds and Hinomi. HTX is Hinome. Both Deeds and Hinome are great. And this is actually a super simple bottom 4 RSI. This is a very simple one. I like this. We'll keep that one. And this is a Tesla Bitcoin by Deeds. Very simple, just rebalancer off of bonds, it looks like. Yeah, it's comparing BSV and short-term QQQ technology. Very interesting strategy. I know Deeds likes to build stuff that is measuring bonds against equities. In fact, this is a little note. Anytime you see logic that is comparing bonds versus equities, this design was actually created by Deeds, and he found that there was some kind of arbitrage opportunity going on in the market during the bull run of last year, where money was basically flowing between short-term bonds and equities in a cyclical manner. But long story short, if you want to talk about that or ask about that, you can jump into the newbie chat or the general chat in our Discord and learn more about that. And the Bitcoin strategy by Derek. This one's very smooth. It wasn't performing well through the past couple of years. So this is all backtest though. He just launched this. We don't know if this is going to perform well, but let me take a look at the logic. 200-day Bitcoin strategy. Okay, now that we found some strategies to analyze, let's dive deeper into the logic and I'll show you what I look for in strategies that I might be watching. So this one, right off the bat, is extremely volatile. There's a lot of mean reversions here, and this kind of concerns me, this backtest here. And this was under construction, so kind of makes sense that that's not working. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that one. This one's very similar. It still has that mean reversion drops here that are very violent. And this is an under construction strategy, very similar to the other one we were just looking at. We'll scrap that one. I've got the Bitcoin 2 strategy that I'm running live that's been having some issues, but it is still profitable. We've got this mean reversion. I do like this one. This might be a framework that I could build off of and kind of improve upon, because it doesn't even look like it's investing in Bitcoin or anything. It looks like it's investing in the technology sector, which is SPX and UPRO, which is a 2x leverage of the QQQ, I believe. This one's not bad. This one's not bad either. This one's okay. And all the logics on these are pretty simple. This one's a little complex. I don't know if I like this one. It's all right. So what I'm looking for is basically the complexity of the strategy, how many lines of logic there are, and the performance of the strategy. And then lastly, I'm gonna go into my portfolio and we're gonna draft one real quick. And this is actually a logic branch that I've been experimenting with in the equity sector, but I want to see if it actually works with Bitcoin. We're going to do the 9-day exponential moving average of BITO, which is the oldest Bitcoin ETF, is greater than the exponential moving average 25-day of Bitcoin, and this is called a ribbon strategy. So I'm going to show you how this one works. We're going to edit our EMAs real quick, and we've already got the 9 and the 25 rolling. So this strategy turns on when the background is green, and it turns off when the background is red. And this is built around asset rotation theory. So these switches are really great for rotating into a different asset class when a certain asset that you're building off of is not profitable. So Bitcoin runs in cyclical movements, and I will show you this. And in fact, I'm actually going to be doing a masterclass on technical analysis of Bitcoin in the future. It'll be probably an hour and a half long. But if we go over to the main Bitcoin chart and I turn it to a log chart, you can see where it has a big run up and then it crashes and goes sideways, and then it has another big run up and it crashes and goes sideways, and then it has another run up and crashes and goes sideways. And this is actually off of the way that Bitcoin was structured, called the Bitcoin halvening. There's a 4-year cycle that is written into the code of Bitcoin. We're not going to get into it, but essentially my goal is to capture these long waves of Bitcoin and then switch into a different asset class when the wave stops. So we're going to go back to BITO, and this is the current strategy. We're just going to test real quick. I'm going to throw Bitcoin. We're going to buy Bitcoin when it's above, and then we're going to do a simple rotator. This is a line of logic that Derek Nelson actually built, and what we're going to measure is the 10-day RSI, and we're going to choose the top one. And we're going to do BitI, which is the short version ETF of Bitcoin, and then bonds, and I think we'll just do SHI from here. And this is designed to essentially short or capture profits on the downturns of most strategies. And this strategy works for S&P 500 equities, but it doesn't seem to perform too well during these cycles. So I'm just going to experiment real quick and see if I can get it to work with different time frames, and I don't want to overfit it or tweak it too much, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's performing too well. So instead, we're going to delete that logic, and we are going to just go into SHI as a flat hold, and we'll see if this captures. It does capture the run-up quite well, so I do like this, but the downside is we are losing profit here on these downturns. So what I'm going to do is go back to my portfolio, and we're going to grab one of my best strategies that is running with live money, which is Biorect. And in fact, if you want all of the strategies that I run live in my portfolios, you can actually go to our website, and under our data, you can get access to all of our live strategies and the information that we're collecting from them. But let's hop back over here, and I'm going to grab Biorect, which is one of the best strategies. It's currently up $161 with a $50 initial investment. And if we do the quick math on that, minus 50%, or minus $50 divided by 50. It's up 238% since I launched it back in September 30th of 2022. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna edit the logic, and I'm just going to grab the entire strategy, copy the block, and we're gonna throw it into the shy position here. And now we're rotating between Bitcoin and this strategy. And it performs pretty well. We still have this massive drop off here, which I don't like. So we're gonna experiment with the timing of the moving averages. That kind of smooths it out a little bit, makes it a bit faster. We'll lengthen the long ribbon to see if we can capture that. Didn't really do too much. Let's switch it to a faster ribbon, and that's a fairly smooth equity curve. It's not perfect, we do have that downturn here, but that's as expected. I think I might actually be able to improve that because I'm going to change this to the other ribbon. This is something I've been experimenting with. This is where I first tested this theory of the ribbon strategy, and let's run that back again. Very, very smooth equity curve. I like this. This is a very simple strategy. We're gonna save this, and I'm gonna call this the 520 BTC ribbon, and we're gonna call it Bitcoin just to name it again. BTC ribbon and bio rect. And lastly, I forgot to change it to calendar trading daily. This might change the equity curve. Nope, it's pretty smooth, but this, again, this is a back test. So this strategy has been tweaked and modified, so there's no guarantee that this strategy will work perfectly. I'm going to launch $50 into it and just start tracking the performance and seeing what happens. But I like this so far. So we're gonna hit the watch button, which will add it to our watch list. So when we go over to our watch list, we now see it here, it's being tracked. I'm gonna save it. I'm also going to share it for our database to follow. I'm gonna go into our Discord community, and I'm gonna make a post here real quick, and we're gonna tag it with momentum as well as mean reversion. Then I'm just gonna add a picture to it, and we're gonna post it. And then once I upload this YouTube video, I will post the YouTube video inside of this. So now this is logged, and our robot that actually collects all of our strategies to put into the database will capture it. And now you can see if we scroll down on the live feed of the strategies, here it is posted, and we've got all the tracking information. It will now show up in the database that I just showed you. Lastly, we're gonna add the website and some tags just for people to know, Bitcoin, and then I like to tag everything with my own creations as well. And save. And again, if you would like access to the strategies, just check out our website, our data. Now I'm gonna throw $50 into the strategy. This is a very simple strategy, so $50 is enough to put into it. But keep in mind, if a strategy is too complex or you have a lot of tickers that you're holding, some tickers are not fractional. So you might actually have to invest a couple $100s into the strategies to get accurate performance and analysis of the strategy, because it might not buy the correct holdings depending on what you're holding in the strategies. But I know this logic very well, and I know that that's not an issue with this one. Okay, so now that we have built this one, I'm gonna start building rotators. So we're gonna discard any changes we made from that strategy, and we're now going to take this logic and we're going to start building rotators or rebalancers to get a more blended and smooth equity curve. So I'm gonna add a filter, and we're going to add a group. I'm gonna paste in the name. I'm going to copy the logic that we just built, paste it in here. So now we have one strategy in here. Now I'm going to take the other strategies that I like, and now we're going to start building a rotator algo. So we're going to post that one in. Let's grab this one. So I'm a little leery of the back test on this one because it has not performed great recently, but I think we can actually kind of isolate that with our rotator. We're gonna grab this RSI check, this Bitcoin strategy, and I'm gonna modify this because I know that it is holding here. And what we're gonna do is the same thing we did here, where I'm gonna copy biorect, and I'm gonna delete the BILs here, and we're gonna paste in the biorect strategies. That's pretty volatile, in fact. Maybe let's go back. And also I need to name this 925 ribbon biorect. Let's just paste it in the bottom one and run it, see what happens. That's pretty smooth equity curve, I like that. So now we're gonna do the Bitcoin signal back here, add another group, copy the logic, paste it in here. And now we have a very concentrated rotator of Bitcoin strategies and technology equity strategies. However, I want to get more diversification on this rotator, so we're going to add in 1 or 2 commodity strategies just to get a more diversified and well-balanced strategy. And now I'm going to go to my watch list. I can't remember if it's my live portfolio or this portfolio, but we're going to look for a strategy I built a while ago, BTAL. This is a strategy I built in another YouTube video. It hasn't been performing too well recently. Let's see if I can find the other ones. Actually, we're going to do the Sandy Golden Dragon version 5. This is a strategy that I actually interviewed Sandy Dragons. He's a kid going to school to actually be a quantitative investor. He's very skilled and knowledgeable in how to build algos. So I know this is a very well-balanced strategy. As you can see, the equity curve is basically flat. I like this strategy. So we're going to copy it and we're going to load it into this one. We'll paste it in there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate by the top 3 RSIs, and we're going to do a 20-day to start out with, and we're going to choose the top 3. And what this is going to do is basically rotate and select the strategies that are performing the best over those 3. That looks like a pretty smooth equity curve. Let's do a 3-year back test. Not bad. It's not perfect though. Let me switch this to 35-day. A bit better. But if we want to select like the most stable design, what you can actually do is standard deviation of returns. And let's do a 35-day, and we're going to actually select the bottom 3. What this is going to do, and what we actually showcased this in the first 2 episodes, is it's going to select the least volatile of the strategies, so that the equity curve is going to should be pretty smooth. But let's check out and see what it does. And as you can see, yeah, it does have a very, very smooth equity curve. It has a downturn though right now though, which isn't too bad. Let's do a 3-month test. It went from 23% down to 14%. That's not crazy bad, but kind of defeats the purpose of capturing the equity curve or the wave of Bitcoin. So let's do a 5-day, see what that does. A bit better. Let's switch it and let's select the top 3, which is going to select the most aggressive of these strategies. Very, very aggressive, but decent returns. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to test these. So BTC, rotator, we're going to do V1, high volatility, SDEV, or standard deviation. We're going to save this. I'm going to switch it to calendar daily. I always forget to do that. You should do that in the very beginning when you're building the strategies. We're going to save this and we're going to watch it. So now it's going to go to my watch list, and then we're going to make a copy. We're going to open up the copy. We're going to change this one to low volatility, standard deviation. So we're going to select the bottom ones, and we're going to run this one, save it, watch it. Then we're going to make another copy, open this one. We're going to call this RSI 20, and we're going to select the top RSI 20-day. Watch this one. We'll make one more copy, open it, and we'll switch this to a 50-day RSI, top 3. Let's just see the back test real quick. I like that equity curve. It does have that downturn, but we should be good. Save it. Watch it. And now when we go to our watch list, we are now tracking these with paper trading, and we're going to see how these perform. So whenever I experiment with strategies like this and they're really complex, I like to add them to my watch list, let them run to 3 to 6 months, see how they perform. If I like them, then I will actually throw live money into them. And I highly recommend that's how you also proof out strategies that you're unsure of. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, again, hit the Discord and you can ask us, and I will see you in the next video.